Have you recently been through a website redesign and lost a ton of traffic? My guess is the internal redirects were not set up correctly from the design agency, and now you're paying the price. My name is Tyler Dolph. I am the CEO of our agency, Rocket Clicks, which is a full-service digital marketing firm focused exclusively on family law firms across the country. With me today, I have Tony Carls and Nick Perot. We're going to continue our deep dive into SEO for family law firms. And today we're talking about internal redirects, which is the hidden SEO issues that can silently sabotage your site rankings and performance over time. Nick will break down what internal redirects are, why they matter, and how family law firms can eliminate them to unlock more organic traffic and conversions, which turn into leads, which turn into consults for your firm. Nick, you're going to have to get us started with a very big overview because this is a very complicated topic.
Well, a redirect is a tool. It's something we use to make sure that links across your website are always working, regardless of, say, a site redesign or just, websites change over time. So we need tools to pass broken to unbroken, make sure that people get where they're going, and make sure that search engines can adequately crawl around a website. So those are our redirects. Our redirects are 301 redirects and 302 redirects. They're tools. Sometimes we abuse our tools. And even though everything can appear to be working under the surface, maybe it's kind of a mess.
Sure. And is this normally when a redesign happens, or this is happening all the time and you have to check it every day?
Well, I'd say redirect chains, or these are where we have like one redirect linking to another redirect, sometimes many redirects linking to many other redirects. Those, I would say, tend to happen most often around a redesign. Like that's the 80% of redirects that are out there. You're going to have one or two occasionally pop up. It's something you want to monitor for regularly, but redesign is almost guaranteed you are going to skyrocket the number of redirects that you have employed on your site.
Yeah, I can't tell you the number of times we've had a potential client come in, right, and say, hey, I just redesigned my site and lost all my traffic. Can you guys help us?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And what I find in a lot of redesign situations where the developer comes in, they proclaim to know SEO, but they don't really know SEO. They'll put hard limits on the number of redirects that they're willing to put on your site, instead of treating it like a 100% job, which is what they should be doing. Like we shouldn't tolerate broken links. We should fix them with redirects. So there shouldn't be a limit to the number that you'll code.
100%. I think done or not done. Tony, we've seen a number of family law firms who will get a website built for free, from their marketing agency, realize that it's not performing the way it should be, and then we see when we do an audit all these different redirect issues. How does a law firm prevent this? What are the questions they need to be asking in order to make sure that this doesn't happen to them?
Yeah, I think two of our previous conversations we talked about site redesigns and the importance of technical audits there, as well as in kind of regular maintenance. You'll find 404s, and again, the 301s are kind of your tool to fix those. I think as it pertains to firms, kind of being proactive about this, have your SEO do an audit, leveraging something like Screaming Frog to find broken links, orphan pages, so that you can make sure your site is servicing your users and communicating well with search engines and AI tools that are scraping your site. So I think it's really important that these are all working, because when they don't, it ends up sometimes in redirect chains, it'll just go forever and ever and ever. So this end up in a loop. So essentially, it actually won't resolve. And I'm not sure technically what happens there. I think sometimes that might be where at 500 errors and you got to restart the server. But there's some, like, bad things that can occur when you do this poorly. So
yeah, I think that's what we want our listeners to hear, is that, especially during a redesign, like, this is essential, has to happen. You have to make sure that your redirects are correct. But the downfall is if you don't, and Nick, expand on this, the authority loss is dramatic.
Well, yeah, you're dealing potentially with authority loss from external links. So making sure that those external links are still resolving to a 200, which is okay, everything's good. 200 is not an error, but a positive signal. You want all of that external link value to be coming into your website still. And then when this is the way that I think about this. Internal redirects shouldn't be tolerated. You should not redirect to yourself. It is lazy. If you have internal redirects, so if Screaming Frog crawl is run on your website and you're returning redirects on that crawl, if you're returning 404 errors, the order I'm going to fix those, I'm going to fix 404s first by updating the link reference on the site and adding a redirect. Then I'm going to crawl again, and I'm going to fix the redirects and make sure that those links point to the right page. The redirect still is there. It's still important, but you're no longer wasting the search engine crawler's time by making it pass through these redirects on your own site. You're sending confusing signals by having these internal links. You're diluting your own authority to these pages by passing them through other links. So we want a clean slate. We want to work with no errors on the site, and we don't want to own any of those 301s on the site. We want to clean them up.
And just in case our listeners are a little confused, as I may be, talk to me about what an actual redirect is, right? Okay, I'm searching for divorce attorney near me. I click on a link that is their divorce attorney page, but then something happens. What is this redirect actually?
Well, the redirect is a tiny bit of code that just says permanently moved or temporarily moved to the browser. It just says, hey, we moved it over here.
It used to be this URL, now it's this URL, and we're just saying, hey, Google, just so you know, this is now this.
Yep.
Yeah. What, like, order of operations, Nick? I believe when the site's loading it, the htaccess file is first thing referenced, and that's essentially before your page loads, it's going to hit that first. And if that URL's in there, it's then going to change where the destination is to whatever you've coded it to be to open the right page. If it's not in there, it'll just potentially error out.
Or if you have WordPress, just to make things more complicated, you're actually going to get pointed to that page, and then that page is going to redirect you to the next page, which is a lot slower and less definite for the search engines to understand. So that would be kind of what happens. It really, from the user end, it's going to slow things down a little bit. If it's a single redirect, it's kind of a minor UX concern to have that redirect in place. From a search engine standpoint, it's going to look across your site cumulatively, and the more of these redirects you have, the less quality your site is going to look. The less
because it's just confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's a waste of crawl time. So if you look at this from like Google's standpoint, their money is all tied up in crawling the internet. And organic doesn't make them money. So they're just spending energy, and they're looking for ways to reduce energy. And the easiest thing to do is go, well, I'm not going to waste my time with you. Your site is low quality. It takes me too long to crawl your site. And the easier you can make it for the search engines to crawl your website, the more time they will spend on your website, the more pages they will index, the higher you will rank, the happier you will be.
Everybody wins.
Around in piles of money. Your time on
it. Yes. Love it. Okay, let's dive back into the weeds here. Talk to us about redirect loops. What the heck are those?
Well, redirect loop is something Tony kind of spoke to a little bit earlier, but if you point a redirect a page URL to another page URL that then points back to the original URL, you are in an infinity loop. You are just a pinwheel of death. You are spinning and spinning and spinning until it's
there's no destination.
There's no the destination is the destination that is the redirect, and you're just start your computer's existential crisis or your own, and sometimes it can crash the server. It's bad news. It's a waste of resources and the worst possible case for URLs. Second to that would be a redirect chain. I'll just jump ahead on you this time. So this is where you have single redirect pointing to a new URL that then redirects to a new URL at least once. So you have this extra step. And that may resolve in the right page. It's not going to loop or anything like that, but you've just added additional steps where you could point that URL at the destination page and not have that loop. That loop is just a time waste. Google claims to be able to jump through many steps of redirect, like these chains. But just because Google can doesn't mean they want to or will. So we make it easy, link directly to the page.
Love it. Simple and concise is what I'm hearing.
And this is, I would expect this to happen, especially if you started a firm. You may not have had a very clear vision on the type of practice areas you want to practice. Maybe like when we started Sterling, we did family, criminal, and personal injury. So we had lots of pages built out. We were going to be single state, not multi-state. So the URL structure was very different. Then we did our first revamp about 2 years into the firm, going solely family, still single state. So that changed URL structure. And then when we went multi-state, we had to then accommodate for that. So that we could separate out the content by state, because the users coming from Naperville, Illinois, reading about parentage rights versus people coming from Madison, Wisconsin, trying to understand custody rights, which is the nomenclature in the two states. Like, it needs to be useful for the user because they have different laws, different terms. So the users have different expectations. And if it's not easy to find and easy to navigate, you're gonna have issues. So we went through this process of, working through this. I think our HTXs file is massive because we've done this 3 times. So it's something you're gonna likely encounter as you continue to evolve your brand. Ideally, you want to do this as little as possible, but it's going to happen. So doing it right is important.
100%. It's going to hurt your brand otherwise. So we're talking about redirects, right? And there are different forms of redirects. Nick, tell us of the difference between a 302 instead of a 301.
Sure. Well, a 301 is the most common, and the 301 is most common, and it literally means permanently moved. So it sends a very clear signal to any of the search crawlers.
Never come back here.
So clear. We're done with this page, so you can be done with it too. Very clear. 302, less clear. Still useful. It means temporarily moved. That can be super useful if you're maybe not committed to a move yet, or you're working some things out. we use 302s pretty sparingly. 301s, we want to make a definite move that has been planned in advance. That said, it's nice to have a couple of tools in the kit.
Just that all of this is about creating clarity, right? And there's a lot of different tools in the toolbox in order to do this. But what I'm hearing you say is the overarching message is that the easier we can make it for Google to clearly understand what your firm is about, what every single page on your website is and should be targeting, the better you'll rank.
Yeah, and like a lot of this is, Nick, you mentioned crawl time for the bots. The equivalent is, speed of your site for a user. So similarly, like if a user comes to your site and you have redirect chain set up and it's just continuing to load and it's continuing to load and it's continuing to load, they're not staying on your site. They're going to leave. Same thing as the bot. Like this is a UX experience for both. And the better you can kind of accommodate both types of users that are coming to your site, the crawlers as well as the users, the more users you're going to get because you're improving the quality of the crawl, the efficiency of the crawl of your site for all of the crawlers. So they work hand in glove to help you improve your ranking, grow your business, get you more search visibility and traffic online.
Okay, final point. Ignoring redirects from broken URLs. Should do, shouldn't do?
You should not. You should strive to have no 404s on your website, so no errors. You should strive to have no 301 redirects internally on your website. But you should have 301 redirects for the external links coming into your website. Your 301s are super important for directing that incoming authority back to your website, making sure it resolves somewhere relevant to that original link. But it's incredibly important to maintain that sort of strict policy of no broken links coming in to your website or on your website, and 301s are a key way we do that.
Yeah, and an example of this that might like register for our listeners here is when we started our firm. In the first 6 months, we sponsored, I think it was a baseball team in Menominee Falls, and they had a website. They still have a website, and they posted on their page on a blog that's there. It's still a backlink that links to our Menominee Falls location page. But when we redesigned our site, we restructured our URL. That then external link from that youth baseball team website no longer worked because it was going to an old URL structure, right? So these three, we have a 301 for it, so it's going to the right place. And now we still get the link equity from that link that was way back in 2017. So like that's why these are important. Because otherwise you just lose that because Google
It's just gone.
Yeah,
and you can't control whether or not they update their website.
Yeah, and like most of the time you're gonna if you change a page and you reach out to a webmaster that's monitoring another website, they're likely not going to fix an external link going to you. What's more likely to happen is you're going to tell them it's broken and they're just going to remove it. They're not going to update it. So like it behooves you to manage those well on your side so that they're not broken. And when they're used, when they run a Screaming Frog report and they're looking at what are broken links that are external links from my website to other websites, you're not showing up on that report, losing your link equity. And obviously on your side, you're retaining all the link equity that you've built over time. So it's an important tool. It's super practical because I know a lot of law firms will do sponsorships, especially locally. When you do that, ask for a backlink on their site. They might be willing to do it, especially in a blog. And then that'll be there basically forever. You won't get a ton of traffic, but Google's going to crawl that site. It's a local signal. It's going to help you rank better for for those particular keywords in your location, and you'll get more business as a result, but only if you manage it well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you're listening to this, the reason why we care so deeply about this is our own firm, Sterling Lawyers, like over 80% of the revenue that we bring in for that law firm comes from the website, comes from marketing and being able to have a very authoritative website. So if you are listening to this and you're a family law, attorney, the more you can enhance and benefit your website, the better you're going to show up, the more often you're going to show up, and the more leads you're going to be able to turn into consults. Gentlemen, I appreciate the time. I love our deep dives into these very complicated topics, and we'll look forward to seeing you again as we continue this journey. We're going to continue our SEO deep dive on this next episode here, which is the trailing slashes and mixed case URLs. Talk about going into the weeds. You're going to love this one. Check it out here, and we will see you over there.